President Trump's proposed $18 billion wall along the US-Mexico border could cover its own cost if the United States cuts off welfare to illegal aliens. A study from the Center for Immigration Studies found that the $18 billion price tag for the wall along the U.S. southern border could be covered if the U.S. curbed the importance of drugs, crime, and poverty, particularly among illegal aliens who tend to go on the welfare federal government dollar anyway. Quote, the wall could pay for itself, even if it only modestly reduced illegal crossings and drug smuggling. Stephen Kermonto, director of research at the Center for Immigration, told the New York Post. Federal data shows that illegal border crossings went down 89% in El Paso, Texas over 5 years after the Bush administration commissioned a 2-story corrugated metal fence to build along the U.S. border. The Department of Homeland Security estimated that if the wall were not built, there would be 1.7 million illegal border crossings over the next decade. The director of the Research Center for Immigration Studies said that if a wall stopped 200,000 of those crossings, the country would benefit from physical savings from money usually spent on welfare and over benefits and other benefits spent on illegal aliens crossing the border from Central America and Mexico. Several other studies have shown that the wall would be beneficial for taxpayers over the long term. Another CIS study from February revealed that a border would save taxpayers $64 billion over the next 10 years. So here's the issue. You see, the Democrats love to complain about Trump and his border wall and how much money it's going to cost. Oh, it's so fucking expensive. It's going to put us into debt. America just simply can't afford the border wall. And yada yada yada, you've all heard it before. But those same Democrats never talk about how we can't afford to pay out welfare and food stamps spending every year. Remember, the $18 billion that Trump is asking for to build his wall is a drop in the bucket, and it's a one-time payment. It's not $18 billion a year, it's one payment of $18 billion. Let me read off some yearly welfare costs that the American taxpayers have to pay for. Roughly half of this welfare assistance, our $462 billion, went to families with children, most of which are headed by single parents, aka single mothers. Total Social Security and Medicaid expenditures were $1.3 billion. Total Social Security and Medicaid expenditures were $1 trillion. But wait, there's even more costs. The Child Nutrition Program costs about $13 billion a year, along with other feeding programs such as WIC run about $8 billion a year. Food stamps alone and in general runs about $82 billion a year. Section 8 and other housing assistance programs runs about $50 billion a year. Now, while I was doing some education and research about US spending, I came across even more damning news. Just listen to this. The United States spends about $444 million on migrant education, and special migrant and advanced migrant training runs about $85 million a year. So all of those things I mentioned, along with some other useless bullshit government programs that you have never heard of, if we just simply cut a lot of that shit and stop with the billions we as a country spend on foreign aid money, maybe we can have some money left over for the US and Mexico border wall. Something that is actually important to our very well-being as a country. And I love to hear the liberals laugh and say that Mexico was never going to pay for the wall, and Trump is crazy and stupid to believe that Mexico will ever in a million years pay for the wall, or at least chip in some millions towards it. And the left never remembers that Mexico was the third largest country that America has trading agreements with, costing, spending, and making about $525 billion a year from each other. And since Trump has started to tax Mexico more for its exports, making America a little more business with Mexico, and with his higher tax tariffs with Mexico, means he can siphon some of that new tax money off towards the border wall. This is something liberals desperately do not want to consider. Because if you remember that the Democratic Party is a party that truly does not like anything pro-American. They are not the party for the patriots. They are not the party of America come first. So this is why they get so heavily triggered hearing about how Trump is going to make Mexico pay for this wall, or at least chip in a few billion. And like I talked about in the beginning, is that the border wall in total is about $18 billion, right? That is literally a drop in the bucket compared to all the other social programs and useless bureaucratic agencies that American taxpayers pay for every single fucking year. Mind you, this $18 billion that Trump is asking for is just a one-time payment. It's not $18 billion a year just to run the border. It's not $18 billion a year in costs and fees. It is just a one-time payment of $18 billion. I don't know about you, but I have absolutely no problem in chipping in tax money to make sure that we have a functioning and coherent border wall. All the problems that arise from illegal immigration stems from us having a weak, decadent, non-protective, and quite often laughable fucking border wall is the sole reason why we have such a problem with illegal immigration in the first place. Have you seen pictures of the border wall? It's fucking fences. It's beat down, rusted out fucking fence. That is what the vast majority actually, of the border wall is just old, rusted out fucking fences. That's it. So you wonder why it's so fucking easy to essentially jump the border or cross the border when our border is basically a beaten down fucking fence. That's all it really fucking is. But not to only mention that, you have to remember that we don't have a lot of border agents. We can't have every border agent across the United States from California all the way down to fucking Texas just have a border patrol agent standing guard every fucking 15 feet. That's not practical. So the vast majority of our border is really unprotected and unsupervised, which makes it incredibly easy for a lot of these illegal immigrants to cross the border and cross into the United States illegally. This is what Trump talks about when he goes off into a tangent about illegal immigration and how we need to fix it. Illegal immigration is truly a huge problem that America faces. But not only that, the fucking costs of illegal immigration is fucking skyrocketing. I just read off to you how much these individual programs cost. And I don't know if you listened to me when I said that. When I did my research, I found out that we have programs aimed at training and educating immigrants that runs up to almost $500 million. That's quite a bit of money right there that we could use to fund other ICE and immigration agent operations. We could hire more ICE agents. We can hire more federal immigration agents with that nearly $500 million. But instead, we spend about $520 million a year on these special training for migrants, education for migrants, and all that other shenanigans. But not only that, the United States spends about $320 million on foreign aid money to Mexico alone every single fucking year. And mind you, Mexico is not a country that particularly likes America. We send about $3.1 billion in aid money to Africa. We spend about $7.3 billion in aid money sending to Israel. And in total, aid money that we give out to the world probably ranks up about $40 to $50 billion a year. We nearly give $1 billion alone to Afghanistan every year. We give $50 million alone to Zimbabwe. So if we just simply cut back on some of this fucking foreign aid that we give out, we'll have enough money for the wall. If we just simply cut down on some welfare programs and some useless bureaucratic agencies, we'll have some money for the fucking wall. But no, screams the liberal left, because we need to fund people. We need to go out of our way to literally send hundreds of billions of dollars a year to countries that fucking dislike us and frankly don't really like us. But we must continue to fund them and give them money. Hard-earned taxpayer money. I say no. I say bullshit to all of that. I say we simply pull back our resources and that whatever agencies here in America should be funded first. Actual real agencies that actually do fucking something. Not the fucking weatherization program, not the grant block program. Literally, you have dozens of these fucking agencies that you never even fucking heard of. I never even fucking heard of while I was doing my research for this shit. No, I am in all favor for Trump defunding some of these programs, defunding all this welfare bullshit, cutting some useless bureaus, and stop giving so much fucking aid money to everybody in the fucking world. If he can do that, he can fund his wall. Hell, he can make his fucking wall out of fucking gold or granite with gold letters embedded Trump on them. If he just simply cuts off all this welfare funding, foreign aid funding, and useless bureau funding, he'll have enough for the fucking wall. Plus what Mexico is paying in through tax tariffs. Yeah, he'll have more than enough to pay for his wall. But that's it for this video. Peace out, guys.